you have everybody laying all these seeds and they don't even know what it's for, and they're not like, the players are not going to find out until the second half when they open their second set of objectives what all those seeds were leading up to. So it gives a lot of time to manipulate the actors to set themselves up in all kinds of really sticky situations for the second half.
So what inspired this idea? Because it's so unique. Like, I love that it taps into the murder mystery stuff because that's really kind of rising in popularity again, but it's in a style that has this engagement element that I really, really enjoy.
So what's so funny is we didn't mean to, like revolutionize a new platform or anything. Like it wasn't like, okay, let's make some new tech and a new way of consuming something. It was really out of this love of murder mystery parties. I've been hosting murder mystery parties growing up year after year after year from the time I was really little, like, organizing these events with my friends from like youth theater. Like we would do Beauty and the Beast rehearsal and then go to my house and do like a Vegas themed murder mystery, and we're all like 11, like every year we would do these, and they were becoming more and more elaborate. Like I was building these cardboard structures and fog machines and strobe lights. Like this was a huge passion project of mine. And so then when the pandemic hit, I was so saddened that I wouldn't be able to do one for a while. But I knew I had to like pivot and figure out how to do it on Zoom. And I did. We did a few of them on Zoom. And not only were they incredibly successful, but the thing of being totally in your own world and clicking between the Zooms, you miss certain things. And that's really exciting to then find them out later, as opposed to like everybody being in one space and kind of yelling at each other. You really get a sense of, oh, there's a rich world going on in this murder mystery party that we're having right now on Zoom. And I was so excited about it and enjoying it so much. And it was so much fun every single time that we then made a Broadway Whodunit, which was kind of the version point one of Foul Play, where we were doing it on Zoom. It was like there would be 4 Zoom rooms, and each one was streaming to a different page on our website. So you could click to different Zoom rooms and follow different people clicking between different rooms. It was the same thing. We were just on Zoom and there were no sets and everybody was making their own costumes. But fundamentally, I was writing it the same way. We were writing these objectives and nobody knew what was going on. And this just went so well that we brought it to Hunter Arnold and said, we think there might be something here. We think there's a next step to us as, murder mystery guys. And he agreed. And so we made Foul Play. It was all this very organic thing that was just the platform, and the clicking between rooms was just an answer to how do we translate murder mystery parties to a digital platform.
I love that. And I now just want to go to a murder mystery party because that sounds so fun.
You get to go to 5.
Yes.
You get to go to 5 of them.
100%. I was like, I will tell you right now, I did not solve the mystery. I was way too caught up in like, they're dancing. That looks silly. Like I would do that and not follow the mystery at all.
Good. That's okay. That's the whole idea of this thing, is that there are going to be people who are like taking notes and like trying to figure out what happens. And then there are going to be people who are doing exactly that. Like, why are Sis and Garrett Clayton dancing in that room? What's happening in there? That's exactly the point of Foul Play. And also, I think that this first case, Vanguard Mansion, does a really good job at like training you for how to consume it. Like now, next time, if you do want to solve the mystery, like, oh, you're gonna have to really look at that evidence, or like you're gonna have to track these certain things. And I think that it does a good job of letting you know that that's what you're gonna have to do.
It's so much fun. And I also like, because I'm someone that's like a big Dungeons and Dragons person, so I really thought it was cool that you brought like B Dave and Brennan Lee Mulligan. What inspired you to bring these like tabletop people that have been involved in that into this for like the writing process?
We love Dungeons and Dragons so much. We love tabletop games, and so much of this came out of our love of board games too. And so we knew that the kind of collaborative storytelling that we were looking to do was so similar to what you do in a good Dungeons and Dragons campaign. And the game aspect of all of it, it was a game. It's not just a game that you play. We were playing a game too. Nobody knew what was going to happen except for me. So it was really like we needed people who understood the player perspective the same way as the audience perspective. So we needed a spectrum of people from the kind of comedy space and the D&D tabletop space. And luckily, Brennan kind of was right down the middle there. And everybody that we talked, and I was a huge fan of Dimension 20 even before we were doing it. So I was like, God, imagine if we had Brennan. But as we were interviewing more and more people, B. Dave recommended Brennan, Travis McElroy, who referenced us to B Dave, also recommended Brennan. And so we got on a Zoom with Brennan, and he was like, hey, I'm really, really busy. I'm doing Dimension 20, but like, why don't you tell me what the project is anyway? And let's just kind of chat. And we told him what it is. And he was like, I will make time to work on this. And we just had the greatest time writing it together, the four of us, and Arti Galapudi, who's also from the like UCB comedy space.
It did remind me of like the chaos, but still having that story, and like also just like letting players loose. It being like, hey, hope they hit what we want them to. It was so fun. And I'm not gonna lie, like the scene where they're fully just making fun of one of the characters' names, I was like, this hit my Dungeons and Dragons energy, because they immediately are like, you cannot get away with this silly name. We must mock this for 5 minutes.
Yeah. We need time to make fun of you is a big part of foul play. Yeah, that's exactly right. Like letting everybody totally loose to yes and everything that you might have to throw at you. Like there were whole storylines. There's a big storyline in Vanguard Mansion that I didn't write. I didn't know was going to happen. And Sis was saying it to me in one of the rooms during the second half. And I was like, this is the first time I'm hearing about this, like that was, I didn't know. So that was really fun, was to be able to write it and have a sense of where the sort of quote unquote A plot is going. But then everybody's making up their own thing. And this totally continues from case to case and gets even crazier as we go forward.
How did the filming work exactly? Because one of the things I found really interesting is you could tell that it was all filmed simultaneously. It wasn't something like you filmed one room and then the next, because you could hear voices from the other rooms.
That's right.
Yeah. How did that work?
We filmed it. So basically, this is the craziest thing ever. We had 4 rooms in this like warehouse in Brooklyn, that were kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4 that we could just walk between, and open a door and see who was in there and see if we could complete our objectives in there. Those sets, we filmed every one of these in a day. Basically, we shot the first half like before the murder, went to lunch, came back and shot after the murder, and then went back and shot all those cutscenes that you see at the beginning, middle, and end of the episode. So, and then that was it. That was the end of that case. We finished it that day. We never came back because the next day our team was working on redressing the rooms for the next case, which was going to be shot the next day. There was a 24-hour turnaround every time. These rooms that look completely different from case to case, they were redressed in 24 hours. We had the most incredible group of people working on it. And each room, of course, had 3 cameras in it. So we were shooting with 12 cameras simultaneously. There was no going back. There was no cutting. Only if ever, the only reason we would have ever cut is if somebody felt unsafe. Thankfully, nobody ever did. But we, of course, were super duper prepared for that to happen. But yeah, totally continuously for basically 90 minutes.
That's insane.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, is we were playing a game too. We were having a murder mystery party. Like we were just, these murder mystery parties, I get emotional thinking about it, because these murder mystery parties that I was so obsessed with growing up and loved so much, it became my job to organize and play 5 of them, like in a week. That was the greatest. It was the most joyful time ever. We just had so much fun.
That's always the best. I love when people are able to bring like that very personal passion into a project that they share with the world, because it feels like more genuine, than versus someone just like, oh, I wrote this script about something because it's my job, where it's like, I've loved this since I was 10 and boom, here you go.
Yes, I mean, again, that's exactly the only thing it came out of, was a need to do these murder mystery parties, like a need to, like, I missed them so much because they were so fun. This isn't like the thing that I'm like, oh, my whole career, I just want to be doing murder mystery parties, or like, I'm ambitious about murder mystery parties. I just love them and I want to make them accessible. I want to play them for fun forever. And to do it with, it's so funny. Like the first inclination I ever had of this idea when I was younger, was like, one day, what a great idea it would be to do like a live stream murder mystery party with like Broadway stars, and Rob McClure is there. Like from the beginning, I like, as a kid, as a fan, I was like, Rob McClure would be great in that. So to be standing in front of Rob McClure and doing this murder mystery party with him, and knowing that this was being made, just the fact that it exists as a fan of the people who are in it, I'm so happy about it.
I love that. And one of the things I also found really fun about this was that it plays with genre. You have the very traditional, like the lights go out, oh, someone's dead, and the noir stuff, but you also play in high fantasy, kind of that Mr. Rogers vibe. What was your like favorite genre to kind of bring the murder mystery aspect to?
Each one of them in their own way is really fun because the sandbox is so infinite with this thing. We could do any genre we want, and trust me, we have hundreds and hundreds of ideas. My favorite is probably the finale, Mr. Robertson's World of Imagination, the children's TV Mr. Rogers episode. It ended up being like accidentally incredibly like emotional and personal, which is really fun. And I'm excited for people to see that. And even when we were writing it, we were all like, I think this is a play. Like, I don't like this is kind of its own thing. So that was really fun. But I also think what was especially cool about each individual genre is the difficulty and complexity of the mystery matches the genre basically every time. So this Vanguard Mansion episode is classic Agatha Christie. You've got to really look at this evidence and really be careful. Reality TV episode, it's complicated, but it's also like dumb. You know, it's also stupid. The answer's gonna be dumb. But then in film noir, it's like really, really serious, and you've got to get really, really intensive on looking at this stuff. So depending on the genre we're in, the answer to the mystery matches the genre, and how hard you have to look for it is how hard you'd have to look within that genre. So I think like it doesn't even matter which one. I'm trying to figure out exactly how to say what I want to say. The most fun is matching the mystery to each genre. There isn't one genre that's the most fun because this format and this idea is so malleable that it could be done in any genre. And we want to do like a boy band episode and a submarine episode. Like we have so much more that we want to do.
And kind of speaking of Agatha Christie, one of my favorite things that's happening recently is this like return to the like classic murder mystery stuff with a lot of Rian Johnson's work, like Knives Out and Poker Face and everything. But you guys totally flipped the format in a way that had me so like tuned in and confused for like the first half because I'm like, no one's dead. What's happening? So
yeah.
What inspired that idea? Because it makes so much sense instead of being like you open with a murder and we're gonna do flashbacks. So like why did you want to do the first half where it's just playing around in the party before the actual crime happens?
I think part of it is trial and error of those murder mystery parties growing up, that time of getting to know each other and getting to know all the characters is really crucial for us as the players. And so I can only imagine it's crucial for the audience too, so that when the murder does happen, you immediately already have your suspicions of like who it is and who you think it isn't and all that stuff. And yeah, I think also what's great about that first half is the murderer doesn't know there's a murderer yet. So you have everybody laying all these seeds and they don't even know what it's for. And they're not like the players are not going to find out until the second half when they open their second set of objectives what all those seeds were leading up to. So it gives a lot of time to manipulate the actors to set themselves up in all kinds of really sticky situations for the second half.
Can you talk to me a little bit about the improv? Because it was so ridiculous in the best way. Like who are some of your favorite people to really like play around with?
I mean, we had some of the most incredible improvisers on our set. A credit where credit is due to April Laval, our improv star, who's in the third case. And she was doing exercises with us every day and giving us tips and direction and advice. She was amazing. All of these people from the UCB space, Lou Gonzalez, who's in this first case and is just brilliant. Erica Hernandez, who's also brilliant in this first case. You're going to meet Keisha Zoller and Arti Galapudis in a later case. I have to say, Sky Lakota Lynch, who after past this first case, he's in every single one. He's in 2, 3, 4, 5. Gives some of the most insane performances I've ever seen. He is the funniest person I think alive. He's like a dynamo of ridiculous, insane comedy. And I could keep going down the list because everybody brought their own thing to the table, even if their strong suit going in wasn't improvising. They might have been like trying to solve the mystery in earnest, and that's really fun to follow around too. You know, you can come in and do anything, and you as the player, when you're watching it later, can follow whoever you want. The foul play is starring whichever person you like the best.
Yeah, it is. It's very, very fun. Yeah, that was definitely, not gonna lie, the first one I fully was following the performer that was there.
Yeah.
It was so ridiculous.
Celia is amazing. Celia is so great.
I loved it. And I thought it was very cool, like how organic it felt, because people would leave the room the second you clicked on it, which was very funny to me because I think that happened to me 12 times.
Yep. Yep. It happens all the time. I've watched it happen now with a bunch of people playing it, and it's like, you missed it. You just missed it. You can't, like, there's nothing you can do.
Is there anything from this that you kind of want to take into your future projects? Because I know you're in that movie with Jennifer Lawrence. Did a lot of the comedy improv that you did in this really help with that?
Honestly, no question. Yeah, we were improvising a bunch in No Hard Feelings, and I was improvising a bunch in No Hard Feelings, and I think doing foul play really did bring me so much confidence in being able to do that, and learning from, again, these legendary improvisers. Totally. I think I learned so much from this project as an actor, let alone as, the person having to make a lot of the calls behind the scenes. To be on that set, learning from these people in real time was really, really a remarkable education that I provided for myself. And so, yeah, going into No Hard Feelings, that kind of freedom to just, especially something that we can cut later, foul play,
Yes.
we can't cut, we can't go back. No Hard Feelings, we could. So there was no excuses to not try everything and improvise a bunch. And just seeing stuff in the movie now, so many of my and our improvisations have made it into the cut of the movie. And even in the trailer, things that our director was throwing at us on the day are in that trailer. So like being able to work on the fly and change things based on what somebody's throwing at you, that was indispensable. And foul play gave me so much experience in that.
That's so great. Yeah, foul play. It's so much fun. It's hard to, like, honestly, the murder, when you said murder mystery party, I'm like, oh, this clicks now. I get what this is even more than I thought. Like,
yeah.
I loved it. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I'm so excited for more people to see it. I hope you get to do more because I so want to see the submarine and boy band. That's amazing.
Thank you. That's really nice. There's I really also hope there's more to come. So thank you for taking your time so that more people know about it.
I will ask this: if you did a season
Please.
2, are there any like bucket list actors you would want to bring into it?
Huge list. We have like a massive list of people that we were even reaching out to for this first set of cases that we couldn't get, or just it just didn't feel right. But I think our big one, and this is a deep cut, but every time we talk about it, we know we need him, is Ruben Rabasa, who you may know from I Think You Should Leave, and also his follow-up to I Think You Should Leave, Ant-Man Quantumania. He's like the just to give him objectives where all he's doing is denying something, and he's like, I did not do it, like being like doing the steering wheel thing that he does, and I Think You Should Leave, but in foul play, or just like letting him be himself. I think that's what foul plays. Now I'm circling it back to saying something about the project, which is great. Good job, Andrew. Foul play is best at like letting an actor be whoever it is that they want to present themselves as on this day, and that was something we were really excited to give people the opportunity to do, and also set the right conditions to like, like I knew that Rob McClure as Mr. Rogers was going to be an earth-shattering thing. We wrote that for him. All these moments that we were like, we know we're writing it for this actor, and they're going to take it in whatever direction they want to go in, and we're so thankful for that because that's what makes this project special. So I think actors who are willing to play are really who we're looking for going forward. But also anyone could do it. Like literally anyone on the planet could do it. Even if you're terrible at improvising, it's just a game. It's just a party. But Ruben Rabasa is the answer. Ruben, if you're reading this, we'll be in touch.
Oh man, it's so great. I hope there's more because it's
Thank you.
completely ridiculous in the best way.
Caitlin, I'm really, really glad you like it. That's really nice. Thank you.
Of course.